Xenoblade Chronicles X, the spiritual successor to one of the best games released on the Nintendo Wii, has finally been released in the West. It's a massive, sprawling RPG that has you attempting to save the human race while exploring a hostile alien planet, first on foot and then eventually encased within your gigantic robot battle. There's so much to cover that today we're going to focus on the on-foot stuff. This first impressions video is going to cover about the first 30 hours of the game. I'm Lee, welcome to Button Bash. The story is pretty straightforward compared to the previous Xeno game. Earth has been destroyed by aliens, and the only human colony ship has crash-landed on a hostile world called Mira. The player has to join up with the Blades, a catch-all, everyman Earthling defense force, and help humanity gain a foothold on the planet through exploring the environment and defeating any threats to the new colony. Jettisoning the complex setup of the last game allows Xenoblade Chronicles X to focus on its core strengths: a vast, complex alien space to explore, and a wild menagerie of strange beasts with which to engage in a deeply layered combat system. Exploration and fighting are equally rewarding, and it's only when the game tasks you with doing anything else that it falters. In a year of big open-world games, Xenoblade might just offer the biggest and most varied world of them all. Mira is enormous, and while it mostly consists of natural environments, it still offers a huge variety of places to navigate. Players are encouraged to scout out the landscape in order to locate data probe sites for the colony, providing information and resources back to the home base. These probes, once placed, serve as fast travel locations and respawn points should the party fall in combat, and finding them all can be a lot of fun. Most of them are out in the open, their beacon light visible from a great distance away, but others are hidden in caves or atop seemingly inaccessible cliffs, and nabbing a hard-to-reach beacon after evading a horde of bloodthirsty beasts is incredibly satisfying. You really feel like a proper explorer. The world is populated by a great many alien species, some of which are docile but many others are aggressive. The local wildlife share the environment in interesting and naturalistic ways. The starting area, for example, has vast plains populated by gentle wombat creatures, semi-aggressive boars, cruel rhinosaurs, and some truly enormous brontosaurs that don't even register your tiny existence. They don't really interact with each other at all, which is a shame and undermines the sense that this is a living world, but that kind of complex simulation might not have really added much value for the player's experience. Combat is frequent, challenging, and fun. The player controls a single character with a group of up to 3 followers, and battles take place in real time with a focus on positioning and timing special abilities, called arts, between auto attacks. It looks great. Battles are active and well animated, but because so much is going on, it's easy to get distracted. During a fight, the player and their allies will call out commands, called soul voices, that correlate to the colors of your combat abilities. Timing your power use to follow a soul voice boosts performance and heals the group, and adds to the illusion that your squad is working in tandem to take down a vicious beast. The best fights are amazing seesawing brawls where your comrades are calling out strategies and asking for assistance, while you dart around your opponent, seeking a better position and switching back and forth between melee and ranged weapons. With so much going on, it'd be nice if the game did a better job of explaining anything to you. While the on-disc manual does an okay job, the game itself glosses over many of its functions and systems. For example, I was aware that the game has asynchronous multiplayer, with players joining divisions and earning rewards for completing group activities. And I was even okay with the fact that you can recruit other player avatars into your squad as temporary NPCs if you need some assistance clearing harder areas. It was about 20 hours into the game that I discovered, purely through accident, that the game has actual cooperative multiplayer in it, when I was briefly brisked into someone else's game to help them beat up some giant space gorillas. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was great, but someone probably could have mentioned that was possible. It's fine if something like Bloodborne wants to be mysterious about itself, but Xenoblade is just being deliberately obtuse. You're going to find yourself reading a bunch of forums, is what I'm getting at. Also, considering how enormous the game is, you could probably pull back the throttle on the amount of content padding. Progressing the main story often demands that you seek out smaller NPC affinity missions, but it doesn't tell you where these are located, and then far too many of the jobs for the Blades come down to scouring the environment for randomly dropped loot. We're talking about a game that flaunts its giant robot on the front of the box, and then takes 30 hours before you can even get your robot pilot license. And the test, you have to sit to get it. Don't get me started on that test. I'm still convinced it would have been easier for me to gain access to a battle mech in the real world than to go through the hoops required to get one in this game. So that's where we're at so far. It's a huge world, lots of scary monsters, excellent fights. Tune in next episode to find out what you can do when you finally get your hands on an amazing, giant, transforming battle robot. But until then, I'm Lee, and you've been watching Button Bash.